Hi guys, welcome to this episode. We're going to explore more Qigong questions. Nice day, so I thought we'll do it outside. First question is by DJ. Initially, I thought the episode would cover the imaginary tree. Oh, so that was a few episodes back on the tree Qigong. As taught in each one. Is that type of tree imagery, pulling the tree up, down, forward, backward, and to the side, similar to what you cover in this video? No, it's not. It's completely different. Do you see any similar benefits with visualizing the similar tree as in each one as you cover in this video? Yes. Also, as you mentioned, I would love to see an episode where you talk about posting properly. Yeah, so I did about a 1 hour lesson on how to post. So if you go to my website, there's a course on that. You're welcome to watch that. But for a 10-minute podcast, I'll just answer your first few questions. So I'm going to maybe stand up, it'll be easier. Okay, when we get back, I'll show you some stuff. Okay, so posting in each one, you're asking about the shaking the tree. Assuming that you did the basic level where you're holding the ball made out of paper, and also you get the elastic band going, and also you get the string going up, hang your spine, you work on each vertebrae, you're sitting on your horse, you get a ball here, you're rooting into the ground, you did all that. And then you start shaking the tree, right? So you can move it to the left and to the right. I'm gonna exaggerate for the camera, because you really shouldn't move more than 1 millimeter. But for the camera, I'm gonna move about 4 inches, right? So you turn the ball left and right, up and down, forward and backward, but in each one we do it opposite. So if the arm is moving to the left, the body moves to the right. So they move opposite. If the hands move up, you actually move your body down. When the arms move down, you move your body up. And then you do it about 1 millimeter. And what you'll find is if you do that, you start moving from here. So the idea of shaking the tree, besides for combat purpose, is to unite the body in such a way that you're moving from your dantian. What that does is it unify your body. Or as the founder of each one, Wang Hingjai would say, 肌肉如一, which means all the muscles united as one, right? So this kind of tree stuff is very different than what I talked about in the previous episode, where when you're posting, you might go into something like this, and you're going much higher than just your own personal space, right? When we get back, we'll talk a bit more about this. All right, so this idea of shaking the tree and stuff like that was mainly used for combat. But from a health posting point of view, when you do that kind of contrasting shaking movement, that's about 1 millimeter, again, you start using the dantian for movement. So you unite the body. As you do it more and more and more, the inner body, the blood will start going down and you'll feel it right here. So that's really, really good for physical vitality. In fact, you'll start feeling blood almost at the tip of your fingertip. Your entire body gets filled up, right? If you stand even longer, like maybe if you want to keep going, like maybe after about a year or so, this will get filled up so much, this will start to open up. And then that's when you start sitting in your each one pose. And that's really good for stuff like if you have a lot of stress, or if you have a lot of anxiety or depression. When this opens up and this fills up, and you leave your head, so everything that's up start going down, you stop overthinking, you stop anxiety, you stop depression a lot more, right? But that's very, very different than the type of posting that I talked about in the previous clip on tree Qigong, where you might stand in a posture like this. But it really doesn't matter where your arms is, where you're no longer just thinking about your body. Instead, you're working with the field outside your body, going deep into the ground and really high. That's not to say each one people doesn't do that, but it's really, really rare. Whereas in classical Taoism, that's pretty much a common thing, where you're literally like a tree reaching as high as you can and going down to the ground. What that happens is this will start happening outside your body, right? So you're working with the magnetical field. That's a complete different paradigm. Most people that focus on fighting, like internal martial art, will never hit that level, or they don't know it exists, because in classical Taoism, they only pull certain parts of it for fighting, right? Historically speaking. And the healing factor is different. When you open up your field a lot more, and not just work on syncing your stuff, like in each one, the bigger your field gets, the better you feel. Because the smaller your field is, the harder it is, the smaller it is, and small is fear, and tightness is anger, right? The bigger it is, the softer it is. And the softer you are, the more empathy and love you have. And the bigger that you expand, the more sense of well-being and peace you have. So when you start expanding your field, the emotional healing factor, you cannot even compare it than just syncing your dantian. So if you just sync your stuff here, you will feel a lot better about yourself, right? But you can't, it's not even comparable to your ability, the healing emotion, had you expand your field. You get really, really almost high when you expand yourself like that. You get so blissful, right? So I would say, from a healing point of view, the expanding the field work of Qi Gong traditionally in Taoism is probably about 3 times more powerful, whereas each one is more in the field of your body. Or as the founder of Wang Yinjai said, 七來三出. That means 7 in, 3 out. So you're not really thinking about outside your body. 70% you're thinking about the tree that you're holding on inside this field. Instead of trying to extend to that tree or extend across the field or extend into that tree right now and having everything equal. The idea is, traditionally speaking, you want to be 100 feet in every direction, right? So that's a good metaphor. When you expand that big, you feel a lot better. And being around trees helps pull your stuff out. So you're cheating, basically. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you. All right, so next question. Okay, next question is from Tashio. Hey, Tashio. So the question is, do the methods you practice incorporate the use of heart-mind coherence? That's a good question. Because we do a non-doing tradition, we don't really go one chakra or one center at a time. So for example, when you're sitting in Jōmon, or sitting in forgetting, or you're sitting in Zazen, or you're sitting in Dochan, or you're sitting in Heaven Mountain, these type of lineages are non-doing. So you're not trying to do each center at a time. Like, I'm going to spend a year spinning this center, spend a year opening this heart center, and then spend another year linking it. So it's not that kind of work where you're climbing a ladder, right? Instead, maybe I'll just sit and just relax and stop chasing so much. Stop the endless collecting of techniques, the achievement of stages, and the chasing of methods. Because that's what gets you sick in the first place from a Taoist point of view. This idea of people chasing things all the time. Can't really stop, overthinking. You must do more and more and more because you never feel you're good enough. That kind of mentality, Taoism is different. It's saying, look, stop doing stuff, stop gathering stuff, instead let go of everything. So that's the original non-doing kind of mentality, right? So that kind of sitting, you're not purposely working with the heart chakra. Instead, you simply sit. But there's more to it than that. But as you sit, everything sinks. As everything sinks, it goes down deeper and deeper, then it bounces up like this, way past the surface, right? When that happens, things start spiraling, going up, then it comes back down. So you got this happening, this happening, this happening, and this happening. But you don't do it. It just happens as you dissolve, right? When that happens, you go up, so that is your heart. When it comes back down, where it touches is what the definition of what people say is. So let's say if at first when you come back down, it touches this spot. And when it goes up, it's coming from this spot. That's what usually people experience the first couple of years, is always about this. Like, hey, every time I breathe out, it feels like it's coming from here. Every time I breathe in, it feels like it's touching here and it's burning. So now they have this illusion that this is what the practice is about, because that's the limit of their experience. And the limit of your experience dictate your perception. Therefore, this center becomes activated. And when you start feeling this stuff from here, you gotta, if people ask you, what is Qi? You'll probably say something like, oh, it's physical vitality, it's the life force, it's power. Because that's where you're feeling it. And this is a power center, right? This is your physical vitality. So at the first few years, when you feel it in this lower burner, to you probably, to me, if I only feel it at this spot, I'm gonna look at it and perceive it as energy and power. But if I keep on practicing, when I start going up, when it starts coming down, it'll start touching this. And I'll feel it here. I'll still feel it here, but now I'm starting to feel this area, right? Usually when that happens, you start feeling enormous amount of bliss where the first time you'll probably cry. And it's usually around that stage where when you start feeling it here, it's usually the stage when you start seeing brightness when you're sitting. You start going, every time you look up, you're like, wow, it's pretty bright. And you start feeling it here when it's coming down. And when you feel it here, most people cry and feel this enormous bliss, where you experience joy that has no reason. And because it is a joy that has no reason, it can't be taken from you because it's your nature, right? But if you choose to keep going and you keep sitting, when it goes up and come back down, it doesn't just touch this and touch this where you feel this and feel this, but while it's coming down, you start feeling it around here. Usually when that happens, that's when panpsychism happens, where you don't feel this stuff as just energy. You don't feel this stuff as just joy and bliss and love, but you start feeling this stuff as consciousness. Like, oh, the stuff's alive, there's a presence, right? That's why, like, to borrow Hinduism, they say the nature of Brahman is being, bliss, and consciousness. That's what they mean. It depends on where you feel it. So when some people say, oh, Qigong's about Qi, energy. Oh no, Qigong's about healing and bliss and peace. And no. Qigong's about universal consciousness. And this guy's like, no, what are you talking about? The stuff's not alive, it's just energy. So people argue, depending on their lineage, depending on their teacher, right? Yeah, but the fact is, they're all right and all wrong. It depends on what level they are. If they're feeling this stuff from here, then to them it's just energy, it's not alive. Don't be superstitious. But if they're feeling this stuff from here, then it's like, no, it's way beyond just health. This stuff is really blissful and peaceful and full of love. But if they start feeling this stuff here, then it's like, oh, I was an atheist, but now I'm starting to believe in God. I can feel a presence. So that's why when people argue about this stuff, it depends on their level of experience. Like, for example, let's say I got this little brass ball right now, right? And let's say I pour some salt on it. So if I lick it right now, it's going to be really salty, right? And the shape of this is a circle. Now, if I'm only using my eyes and I'm not allowed to use my tongue, and someone give me this ball that's full of salt that I can't see, but I can see the circle, and I can see that it is circular. I can see the shape, but I don't know what taste it is. Now, if someone blindfold me and I'm only allowed to use my tongue, now I can taste that it is salty, but I don't know what shape it is. So they're both right. Is it salty? Yes. Is it circular? Yes. Depending on what senses you're using limits your perception and therefore your definition. That's why it's important not to hold definition too tightly. So this is your senses. Just like your eyes and your tongue, well, these are your senses. So what level are you at? Which center are you operating from? If you're operating at this level, this center, then to you is dead energy. It's energy, but it's not alive. If you're operating from this center, now it's spirituality and healing. It's going to feel peaceful, compassionate, and bliss. Overwhelming amount of bliss and getting high, an euphoric feeling, right? If you're operating from this level, now we're talking about prayer. Like, you start feeling presence. And it's really funny when atheists, some of my friends that are atheists, sit to the point where they start feeling presence, and it flipped their belief system upside down for the first time in their life, right? So it depends on which level you're at. So when you're asking about the heart, it is just one level of perception to us humans. But to the stuff coming down, it's the same stuff. It's like someone pour a bucket of water and we feel it on this senses, or we feel the water here, or we feel the water here. But to the water is just water. It's just one thing, right? So anyways, I hope I answered your question. If you're interested in learning more about this, go to adamchanlive.com, follow the link below. Leave your question below and we can talk about it some more. Thank you.